Bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite, or whatever the case may be. My name is Marcus, and I am the host of the Black Brazil Today YouTube channel, as well as the blackbraziltoday.com blog, where I analyze Brazil from the perspective of race. So today I want to react to a video that I popped up on my timeline a few days ago, and I definitely wanted to react to it. It's not a new topic, but I just wanted to talk about it because, this young lady looked like she was pretty surprised by something that she discovered. Many of us have been aware about this for some years. So I wanted to just talk about it because it was intriguing that, this caught her attention and her reaction caught my attention. So let's go ahead and talk about it. It's not a new topic. A lot of us are familiar with this, but I just wanted to cover this young lady because I saw her video. So, Brazilian hairstylist in Portugal shocked by how common it is for Africans to bleach their skin. Controversial topic. We've all heard about it. So before I get into this video, make sure you like it, share it, subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell so that you know when I put up a new video. So let's get into the video for today. So this is the young lady who posted the video that I'm reacting to. And her comments brought a lot of things to the fore in terms of how I was thinking when I saw her video. A couple minutes her video is. It brought to mind the cosmetic products for skin lightening in places like United States, various African countries. We've heard about it in Jamaica. Of course, we are familiar with people like Lil Kim. Now, the topic would invariably always turn to Michael Jackson, but I think it's pretty much confirmed that we know that Michael Jackson did indeed have vitiligo. Now, I don't know to the extent how bad his vitiligo was, but apparently his skin was lightening so quickly and so fast that at a certain point he decided instead of putting on brown makeup, the vitiligo had spread so bad that he just decided to complement it with whiter makeup. That's from what I understood of how he approached the problem. His autopsy, 2009 or so, after his death, did show that he had vitiligo. Now, whatever process he was using to give his skin tone some type of uniform look, I can't speak on that, but it is confirmed that he had vitiligo. Um, Cosmetic procedures. What does this have to do with Brazil and maybe a place like South Korea? Well, the reason why I'm talking about that is that I did a video maybe last week or the week before where a social influencer was being asked by her followers, have you ever considered getting, rhinoplasty, getting your nose thinned, cosmetic procedure? And she says, no, I'm not going to change my nose. I don't have a problem with my nose. But we know that Brazil is consistently in the top 3 to 5 countries every year in terms of how many cosmetic procedures are happening. And generally, when people have cosmetic procedures, they're going to have something that makes them look a little bit more European to narrow out, to change their maybe indigenous features, their Asian features, or their African features. And as I've said before, I don't think I've ever heard of anybody getting rhinoplasty to make their nose bigger. So what is that saying? It's clear uh, the racial hierarchy that's in Brazil. People want to get closer to the European aesthetic of beauty. This goes into why so many Brazilians deny being black, and on it goes. Now, in terms of South Korea, we know that a lot of South Koreans will have eye fold surgery to remove the slant from their eyes. We see the Eurocentric standard of beauty all over the world. So people all over the world who don't comply with the European standard will do something to be in compliance. Whether that is straightening their hair, people will wear, blue and green contact lenses. Then we see, skin lightening procedures, whether it's just with skin lightening creams or whatever it might be. But again, this is when we talk about people not wanting, like, why you guys talk so much about racism? And I I don't know if sometimes people don't know the depths of how the European standard has affected non-white people globally. You go to certain countries and the country will have a white minority, but they'll still have billboards of whiter women, representing the standard for themselves. So, it's not a thing of, why are you guys making such an issue out of this? I'm just saying, if you're not a person of color, then maybe you're unfamiliar with how this affects the psyche of so many people, millions, if not billions of people around the world. We see this color-coded hierarchy in numerous countries. Go over to India and look at the media there. See the whiter skinned Indians are usually the people that's featured in like the Bollywood productions, right? I mean, just look at that. Spend some time in Brazil, spend some time in Dominican Republic, and people will turn it and be like, it's the black people's problem, it's the Asian people, it's the Indian problem. But where did they get the idea that what they look like was not sufficient? Okay, that's my whole point with this. It's not a point. I always want to talk about racism, but at the same time, people don't understand what the theory of white superiority or white supremacy has done in the psyches of billions of people around the world who are not white. Again, a European standard of beauty. I also want to point out that, as far as I know, I've never seen any widespread practices of skin lightening cream in Brazil. Brazil does it another way. As I've said repeatedly, Brazilians are taught from day one, if they're persons of color, that they should try to have a relationship with a lighter skinned, whiter person to produce lighter kids. So from what I see, Brazilians don't necessarily use, I'm not saying it's never been used. There have been some cases, there are some products that you can find in Brazil, but I think people tend to say, hey, what I'm going to go here, mutilate what I look like when I can just get with a white person and produce a whiter child. So all of these, whether it is the eye surgery or it's the skin bleaching creams or it's the ideology that says I'm going to get with a white person so I can produce a whiter kid, all of them come from, the same thing of the effects of white supremacy on the psyches of billions of people we'll call people of color around the world. So that's how I put all of that together. Let me get into the video for today. I'm going to talk about this young lady right here because when I read this story, I thought about her. I couldn't remember her name, so I did a quick search, and here she is. So first, I want to just react. I want to overdub the video of the young Brazilian woman who's living in Portugal as a hairstylist. Let's listen to what she has to say, and then I'm going to come back and react to what she had to say. Black people turning white. I think it was the most shocking thing I've heard stories working with clients. For those who don't know, I'm a hairdresser here in Portugal, and I work in home. So I go to people's houses a lot. So I go to people's houses a lot to do their hair. This particular client, she came from England so that she could be seen by me here in Portugal. So she rented an Airbnb and did her hair there, and she started telling me some stories. She's Portuguese. She went to England and worked there. She's lived there all her life, and now she's moved to Nigeria. Nigeria, people, is a very rich country. The strong currency there is the dollar. And she told me that she went to live there because of a very good offer she received. But when she got there, she was shocked by the amount of outdoor, how the advertising there is strong on skin lightening treatments, cream, facial products, skin products, beauty clinics, outdoor on one side, outdoor on the other, as if it was the most normal thing in the world. And she said that there are people who are already white, that she's met people who are white and still use more products in order to get even whiter. So she said, man, you're not white enough. And yes, it can get worse. She told me that there are even products for babies to lighten their skin because often the couple becomes white. And so that people don't realize that they were black, the child will be born black, obviously. So they start to lighten the child from birth, precisely to lighten the skin to make it lighter. Really, it was a subject that gave me anxiety. I was shocked. I hadn't imagined that this existed. The only case of someone right, but it was also due to illness. As far as I know, is Michael Jackson, who was black and became white, but it was due to an illness. The media was saying, but now with this, I have my doubts. So you heard what that young lady had to say. Apparently, she was really shocked by this conversation of Africans. It's a wide usage of skin bleaching creams, and I've heard it from various countries. The popular Afrobeat Nigerian musician Fela Kuti talked about this in one of his songs. Like, what are you guys doing? What's going on in Nigeria? But it's not just Nigeria. I've also heard about this in Jamaica. So this is a problem, around the world where there are Black people. I remember old ads from like the 50s, maybe the 60s in Ebony Magazine. Now, Ebony Magazine is supposed to be a magazine to promote Black pride in the United States, and they had skin lightening creams advertised in that magazine some, decades ago. So this is not just something that is just in the African continent. I've heard this throughout different countries around the world where there are people who have darker skin, right? So let's talk about this young lady right here. Nigerian singer Dencia is one of the creators of the Whitenicious cream, which promises to lighten Black and dark skin in up to 7 days. I couldn't remember this lady's name until I did the search. The lady in the video I just did, who I just overdubbed, she was talking about Nigeria. But as I said, you can find this throughout the African world. It's like a real problem where they're starting to ban some of these skin cream products. I have to say, the strangest thing is, it's amazing that she can go from this to this. I mean, it's funny because she doesn't even really look unnatural. The question would be here, whatever she's doing and whatever the ingredients are in this product, what's going to be the long-term effects on her skin? Because whenever people seem to do something that goes against their natural appearance, there's usually some type of downside. We've heard about the BBLs, we've heard about the Botox. What other type of surgeries are people having and procedures that people are having, and then years later they regret it? Sometimes people die from these procedures. So you have to wonder what this young lady is doing that she can have this appearance from having such brown skin to almost her color here. And I'm sure it has a little bit to do with photography, but her color is almost the same color as the white background there. That is absolutely stunning. It's amazing. Let's get into this because Brazilians were talking about this way back in 2014. So it says here, I think this article that I've translated is from the Terra website. It says a big hit in West Africa, Whitenicious cream promises to lighten dark skin in just 7 days, leaving it free of hyperpigmentation, dark spots, and even acne. The product was developed and is being promoted by Nigerian pop star Dencia, who until then had been Black, who used the cosmetic product all over her body and showed surprising results, displaying a much lighter complexion. If it wasn't just the ethnic debate about the desire to lighten the skin, the controversy still revolves around the product's formulation, since the website responsible for its exclusive sales worldwide, provides little information about the active ingredients used in its composition, such as aloe vera and vitamin C and E, which used together provide skin depigmentation in a non-aggressive way, according to the manufacturer. Developer and main fan of the product, Dencia, showed unbelievable results when she appeared with much lighter skin after using the Whitenicious lightener. Dencia, who had Black skin before using the product, states on her official website that one of the positive factors in using the cream is the end of racism. Really? So you see the end of racism because you decided to whiten yourself as an answer to what we'll see as the denigration of Black skin in a global atmosphere that you know gives, let's say, advantages to having whiter skin. So you see yourself as fighting racism by whitening your skin. If anything, I would say that says you're giving in to racism. That's how I would see that. Let me see. The composition of the product includes only vitamin C and E, as well as aloe vera as whitening components. Brazilian experts dispute the product's formulation and claim that the vitamins associated with aloe vera alone are not enough to provide such a rapid whitening effect. The great suspicion of Brazilian experts is the amount of hydroquinone, the substance responsible for whitening the skin, which acts by killing the cells responsible for producing melanin in the body. Used in the product's formulation is above permissible limit, a factor that can increase the risk of skin cancer considerably. The pop star says that the continued marginalization of African descendants, men and women in the global cosmetic market, led her to create the product in partnership with a renowned chemist. Brazilian experts, however, are not convinced that the product does not offer any kind of risk, including carcinogenic risks, since the use of vitamin C in large quantities can cause some types of skin cancer. Joyce Cuenca, a cosmetologist and pharmacist at Bioversité, located in the Brazilian state of Paraná, located in the south of the country, says that it is practically impossible for the whitening product to show such results in such a short time. She explains that according to the composition described on the website, the results cannot be as expressive as those presented because the ingredients used act in a gentle way. This is because the associated vitamins C and E, even though they act as depigmenting agents and even out skin color, tend to offer a much more preventive action than a lightening one, stimulating the synthesis of collagen in the skin, fighting free radicals, and protecting against the effects caused by UV radiation. Despite this, the cream proves to be able to lighten skin. We just don't know, however, what price will be paid in the future for this lightening, since the composition is not clear enough for us to evaluate its mechanism of action and its possible carcinogenic potential. She warns, secret ingredient. The result presented by Dencia is so surprising that it's hard to believe that it was obtained using only the components described in this formulation. It is scientifically impossible to obtain such rapid results in such a short time. What must actually exist is a secret ingredient not publicized, which promotes this effect. According to scientific literature, such a transformative effect can only be caused by substances that damage the skin and can be precursors to the appearance of skin cancer, says Joyce. Okay, so they're questioning this. What other ingredients are in this product that, the singer and the company are not actually talking about that could be harmful to someone's skin? That's the question here. Although it is not mentioned in the chemical composition of the product, the cosmetologist suspects that the cream contains hydroquinone, a bleaching substance that promotes the death of the cells responsible for melanin production and prevents skin repigmentation in the case of white spots. A significant proportion of users report that their skin becomes totally sensitized after using the product. For the promise of efficacy in 7 days to be fulfilled, I believe it has a hydroquinone concentration above 4%, which can seriously increase the risk of cancer or presence of steroids, says the specialist. One of the most discussed points with the emergence of the cream was the social issue. According to Dencia, the cosmetic provides greater well-being for its users since their skin is lightened and they no longer suffer from racism. On her website, the pop star says that the continued marginalization of African descent men and women in the global beauty products market led her to the inspiration for the article, created in partnership with a renowned chemist. For Joyce, this is a very significant aggravating factor when it comes to evaluating the use of the product. In my opinion, it offers users a new lease on life as it claims to be the solution to racism. After all, the manufacturer's own website reports on the marginalization of the Black class and the self-esteem of these young people. I believe that the solution to racism is a social problem, not a cosmetic one. Beauty lies in diversity in the many different races and shades, she says. She goes on to say that the problem of self-confidence lies beyond changing skin color, but rather in the acceptance and enhancement of Black beauty. A lot going on there. Totally agree with that, to say that, in the last decade to 15 years, there's been a push among Black Brazilians to accept the standard of Black beauty. Why do we have to conform to what is considered a Eurocentric, method of beauty and go through all of these damaging products? I mean, people's hair will fall out, then you have bleaching creams, all types of things that people do that can be damaging to someone's appearance. The answer is not going through these sometimes harmful treatments, but it is to change the society, right? What is the standard of Black beauty? As it says right there, beauty lies in diversity in the many races and shades, right? But because of the European dominance and power globally, a lot of people just, throw in the towel and say, okay, I'm gonna try to be as white as I can. In the case of Brazilians, whether they're conscious or unconscious of it, they will match with whiter or white-skinned people in order to produce kids that won't go through, racist embarrassment because of how Brazilian society reacts to the African aesthetic. This is not the answer, people. Anyway, I wanted to share a couple of more articles that put this into context. Bleaching cream billboards in Nigeria. You see all of these here. Nature White. What else we have? White body, AMI white body. African women bleach skin to raise social standing. Most active whitening creams in Nigeria that actually works for fair, even skin tone. This is Dencia right here, the complex history of skin lightening. Let me see, complex history of skin lighteners in South Africa and beyond. You've got ads like this one, skin bleaching, and on it goes. Skin lightening, Africans' multi-billion-dollar post-colonial hangover, 10 bleaching creams and body lotions. What does it say? You should never buy or use. There's a person, looks like she's putting on some bleaching cream. Best five best skin lightening body lotions, and on and on. So this is what I'm saying when people talk about why do you guys talk so much about racism? This is one clear example of the effects of racism in the psyche. That's why we continue to talk about this. And as long as people want to ignore it, I get people in the comment section all the time pointing the finger at me, like, why you talk so much about racism? Why are you obsessed with racism? I'm not obsessed with racism. I'm not obsessed with race at all. I have a lot of interest. This just happens to be what I choose to do my blog and my channel about, of the many interests that I have. Then we talk about Jamaicans bleaching their skin. Why are some Jamaicans bleaching their skin to get lighter? So as I said, this is true in the Caribbean, in Jamaica. Then you have skin bleaching is a huge epidemic for people of color. Wow, look at this side effect in this picture right here. Let me see why Black women in predominantly Black culture are still bleaching their skin. The after effects can be pretty damaging. It's like you might get something that you didn't expect to have. Like, wow, a Western influence that bleach can't reach. Yeah, this is intriguing. So again, this is another reason why I talk about these topics. It's not just a thing of, well, why y'all complaining all the time? These are the effects. Then we talk about people in South Korea removing the eye folds from their eyes. Again, to emulate the European standard. A lot of Koreans have heard from people, wow, you look sleepy. Then you get into people who make the eye slant gestures. It's a form of racism against Asian people. So then, you go around the world and this is what you see. This is all because of a European standard of beauty. I mentioned before, and I've mentioned in several videos, this painting called the Ham's Redemption from 1895 that depicts a dark-skinned Black woman and her mixed child. The mixed child has a relationship with a white man and produces a white or near white child. So Brazilians may not use skin bleaching products, but the ideology is to say, hey, well, I don't need to go through all of this. I'm gonna just pass on whiteness on to my kids if at all possible. Okay. But we see this. Look at this article right here. So she's white. She's so white, she doesn't seem to be your daughter. How lucky she is. Journalist reveals episodes of racism experienced by Black mothers and children. When the darker skinned parent has lighter skinned kids. Eugenics in Brazil. We Blacks are born and raised so that we don't want to marry each other, and on and on. Let me see if there's another. Okay. This was the former vice president under what was his name? Bolsonaro's administration a few years ago. General Mourão, an Indian and candidate for vice president of Brazil, comments on how handsome his grandson is and that he is an example of the whitening of the race. So this is what I'm saying. We see this throughout Brazil. We don't bring redemption in our bellies, maternity, and the process of whitening in Brazil. And this is ongoing. This is why I talk about it so much, analyzing palmitaging, the racist policy of whitening the Black population. So, this is why I talk so much about this. This is not something that I'm just making up. This is not something that it has nothing to do with obsession. It's just, this is a part of Brazilian society that maybe Brazilians don't want to openly talk about, but the Black Brazilians are openly pushing this issue because for decades and arguably centuries, this is how they've been living psychologically until they discover, like, wow, we're being manipulated psychologically to desire whiteness. So these are just some of the outcomes of what I'll say is the promotion of white supremacy, white superiority. It's wherever you have Black people in some type of way, you're going to find this in that society. So curious to know what you all thought about this. As I said, this is not a new issue, but I still would like to know what you all thought about it. Drop a comment in the comment section, like this video, share this video, consider subscribing to this channel, click on that notification bell so that you know when I put up a new video. And with that said, I'm going to end this video here and request that you all come back. Check out the next video that I post here at Black Brazil Today.